A very good evening, and thank you very much for joining us today for the Bank Negara Malaysia Scholarship Program webinar. My name is Evie, and I'll be your moderator for today. I'm sure that we have an audience of talented and ambitious students, and possibly parents too, here with us online, all eager to plan out your next steps and learn about the opportunities that Bank Negara Malaysia has to offer. Before going into the specifics about the scholarship, there's something important we need to do first, and that is to get to know a bit more about Bank Negara Malaysia, also known as BNM. As a BNM scholar myself, I can say that this is a very important step because there are different scholarship programs offered by different institutions out there. So learning more about BNM and what makes our offerings unique would help you understand the kind of qualities that we are looking for here at the bank. BNM is the Central Bank of Malaysia that began our operations in 1959, 2 years after Merdeka. Being a statutory body means that we are an organization that's established and governed by a statute, namely the Central Bank of Malaysia Act. Under this act, BNM is given a mandate of promoting monetary stability and financial stability that ensures a conducive environment for sustainable growth of the Malaysian economy. We also act as the banker and advisor to the government, focusing on macroeconomic policies and management of public debt. Besides that, we are the sole authority to issue currency as well as managing the country's international reserves. From this very quick overview, you can see that we have a lot going on here at BNM, with over 40 departments covering various fields and operations. And this is exactly why we want to invest in talented people like you to help us continue to do the important work that we do. Here at BNM, we offer two types of scholarships. If you're 19 years old and below and have just finished a secondary school, the Kijang Pre-U scholarship is for you. For this, we look for students with a minimum of 8 A's, and that is A pluses and A's in your SPM result. If you're 25 years old and below and have obtained an offer to study at one of the top universities, which I will list out later, the Kijang Undergraduate Scholarship is for you. So we have a question here asking, for undergraduate scholarship, I do not have SPM examination results because I study overseas. Am I still eligible to apply? Yes, we will consider outstanding examination results as listed in the undergraduate requirements. I myself came from an IGCSE background and I just went ahead and applied with my IGCSE results. The areas of studies that we provide scholarships for can range from economics, mathematics, statistics, actuarial science, computer science, data science, accounting and finance, and law. In essence, the applicant's field of study must be related to BNM's core business. If you are on the Kijang Pre-U scholarship, which is the first type of scholarship that I mentioned, you will be sent to a competitive pre-U college like College Tunku Jafar, College Yayasan UEM, Epson, Taylor's, Nexus, or Sunway before continuing your higher education at a university of your choice, whether locally or overseas. The approved universities for the UK include the likes of Oxford, Cambridge, LSE. We have also funded scholars for Ivy League universities in the US, such as MIT and Harvard. And for Australia, the list includes ANU and University of Melbourne. And for Malaysia, we will be looking at UKM, UPM, and other approved universities that you can find on the BNM website. So now, having heard about all of these exciting opportunities, I bet you might be wondering, is this really for me? Am I the right fit? Well, what can I say is that Bank Negara looks for someone who is keen about their chosen field of study, someone who can represent the central bank well, and most importantly, someone who is committed to be part of the BNM ecosystem. Because as soon as you accept the scholarship, you will be part of us here at BNM. All right, now let's talk about the timeline. The application portal has already been open since the 21st of April, and it will be open until the 4th of May. On this note, we have received a question. So if someone missed the application closing date, can their application still be accepted? Unfortunately, we cannot accept any applications after the closing date. And this is why we highly encourage you to submit the application ahead of time and allow buffers just in case unexpected problems occur. After the application stage, it will be the shortlisting process. If you are shortlisted, you will need to submit your documents for verification. Once you have applied, please do keep an eye out for your email inbox, including your spam and junk folder, for an email from profiling@bnm.gov.my. Due to the high volume of application, only shortlisted candidates will be contacted. Shortlisted candidates will then need to complete psychometric tests and pre-assessment video interviews around mid-May. Should you successfully pass through these stages, you will be invited to an in-person assessment by the end of May, and the decision offer will be made by mid-June. You can head over to our BNM website for more information and to create an account at the scholarships page. And finally, before I pass the torch over to our amazing panelists here are just some advice from our scholarship team. Firstly, do fill out the information required as detailed as possible, and remember to click save at every page so you don't lose any of your work. Prioritize your highest achievements in your co-curricular and stick to the word limit for the essay portion. If you need any further assistance, you can send an email to profiling@bnm.gov.my. So now, without further ado, let us invite all of our panelists today, my fellow scholars, Hussein, Sarah, and Yasmin, to introduce themselves.
Maybe I can go first. Hi, I'm Sarah Sagadavan, a graduate analyst at BNM, currently finishing my first rotation at Financial Inclusion Department. So I was awarded the pre-university Kijang Scholarship. So I did my A-levels at College Tuanku Jafar and my accounting and finance degree at University of Warwick in the UK before returning to bank to serve the bank.
Hi everyone. Alright, so my name is Hussein. I'm a previous Bank Negara Malaysia Kijang Scholarship recipient. I was awarded the scholarship to study economics in the London School of Economics, and now I have returned to the Bank Negara Malaysia as a graduate analyst to serve in the economics department. On to you, Yasmin.
Hi, I'm Yasmin. I was awarded with Bank Negara Malaysia Kijang Scholarship after SPM and did my A-levels at College Tuanku Jafar. Then I continued my studies in accounting and finance at the University of Leeds, UK. Currently, I'm serving my first rotation in the Market Operations and Development Department under the Kijang Graduate Program. Over to you, Evie.
Thank you so much for your introduction, everyone. It's so nice to have all of us here from different backgrounds, be it pre-U or undergraduate scholars, and from different fields of studies, speaking to each other and to all of our potential scholars out there. It brings back so much of memories of doing scholarship applications not too long ago. I was actually wondering, Sarah, with so many scholarship programs out there, what made you choose BNM? Why this scholarship and why BNM?
Thank you, Evie. So when I applied for my scholarship back then, I did not overthink it. As long as the subjects were interesting and I was eligible, I just applied for everything that I came across. And when I landed with some offers, I eventually went with Bank Negara Malaysia because obviously it's a prestigious and well-renowned institution. There is only one central bank of Malaysia. There is literally no other place that I could be doing the impactful and diverse work that I could be doing at bank. And this idea of nation building really intrigued me. And now that I've worked in bank for a few months now, I finally realized that I actually made the right decision. As someone who didn't know what exact job that I wanted to pursue back then, bank felt like the perfect place because we do engage in a wide range of activities that I'm sure that I can find my place and fit in. Back to you, Edie.
Thank you so much, Sarah. And I actually relate so much to what you said. I still remember that when I got the scholarship, I sat myself down to think about what I want to do with life, like what you said. I'm so glad that I did that and took on this journey with BNM. But of course, the application process can be challenging. So how was the journey like for you, Hussein? What are some of the pressures and how did you manage the expectations?
Right. I guess let's break the question down to two parts. So first part is the journey, and the second part is how I handle all of these challenges. So on the first part, let's talk about journey. So back then, it was post-SPM years. So it was, I think, quite uncertain times because I just finished my SPM, I got my results. But at the same time, I'm not certain what I want to do in life. It started off as like me as a kid wanting to do medicine. And then somehow, during that time, I stumbled upon all of these scholarships that I am eligible to apply given my SPM results. And given that, I found out Bank Negara scholarships. And I was enticed to apply. The reason being because I feel like, why not, right? Because I already put a lot of effort to do well in my SPM years. And somehow there are some scholarships that I can apply. And so if I give it a try, I have nothing to lose, right? And I eventually just applied to it. And I went on the websites, I applied, I filled in all the details, I filled in my achievements as well as my SPM results. I even wrote an essay for the scholarship applications, and eventually I got called for the interview. And at that time, I feel like, oh, this is amazing. And I come to the interview, right? And the interview is nothing less than daunting because as you go into the room, you meet a lot of people from diverse backgrounds from all over Malaysia, and you realize that these people, they are really amazing. And you feel like you're some sort of imposter, the odd one out in the room, because when you talk to all of these people, they seem to be like very articulated, they communicate very effectively, and they're very smart. But regardless, I went through the process anyway, and somehow I got selected, which I'm really grateful of. After that, I continued my study in A-levels, and then I in the Epsom College in Malaysia, and then I continued my study economics in the LSE. And throughout this process, it gets more and more challenging, it gets more and more difficult. Because I think I remember like when I go into A-level, somehow I had to study for 4 subjects. You know, given like when you study SPM, right, you only take around 8 to 9 subjects, but somehow when you go to A-level, you only take 4 subjects. I initially thought it was like, oh, this is easy. It's only like 4 subjects, right? Oh man. But after that, turns out I can never be more wrong than that. It was very tremendously difficult, and I have to adapt through that. But eventually, when I go to universities, somehow my A-level prepared me with the difficulty. It prepared me mentally to go through my university, and I went well. It went well. And the rest is history. Now I'm back serving the Bank Negara in the economics department. Obviously, with the scholarship, right? Going back to the second part of the question, with the scholarship, there are such a high expectations coming from your friends, from your families, and of course, with your scholarship provider as well. Bank Negara will set some kind of requirement for you to meet at every stage of your study, and you have to meet those requirements for you to proceed. So the challenge is that the things that you study will be very difficult, but the fact that it gets progressively difficult means that you can gradually adapt to the difficulty, and over the long term, the way you adapt, the way you handle this stress, this pressure, somehow will offset the difficulty that is coming to you. And of course, like if you are struggling, right? Remember that you did your SPM, and now you did your A-level, you did your university exams. So you went through multiple process. What makes you think that you can't pull it off again, right? So the key here is to remain consistent. And if you face any difficulties, there's always your friends and your families which you can rely on, even your scholarship providers, even the Bank Negara staff who are there to help you throughout the process. Okay, I think that's enough for this part. Back to you, Evie.
Thank you so much, Hussein, and thank you so much for being so open and candid as well with your sharing. I guess the good thing is that there's always light at the end of the tunnel, right? Because thanks to this scholarship, we all had the opportunity to have amazing university experiences abroad. So perhaps let's talk a little bit about our university experiences, shall we? Yasmin, would you like to share?
Yes, of course. Oh my God, I would say my university life was amazing. It was the best 3 years of my life. Considering that it was my first time in the UK and moving into a new country for my studies, it has been both exciting and challenging. It has opened up a world of opportunities that I never could have imagined. From traveling around Europe, engaging with my professors and peers from various backgrounds, and even living my day-to-day life there has broadened my perspective and opened up my mind. It has definitely enhanced my problem-solving skills and also my independence. I also did my internships in Bank Negara during my summer holidays, and I would say it was very helpful because it actually helps me in setting my expectations on how work life is before the real thing starts. Up until now, I still miss my moments in Leeds. How's yours, Sarah?
That's actually very sweet. I think I'm going to agree with you, Yasmin, because at the risk of sounding very dramatic, my experience of studying abroad was absolutely life-changing and eye-opening. It really pushed me far outside of my comfort zone. From navigating and adapting to the differences in the education system and the culture, to managing my own finances, learning how to cook, overcoming homesickness, pulling all those all-nighters in the library. I think studying abroad really taught me the peak of independence. But obviously, of course, it wasn't easy all the time, but thankfully I had a really good support system. Many of my close friends that I met through BNM scholarship, and along with that, some lifelong connections that I met in uni. So if you are alone in a completely new country, having a good support system is extremely important to, help you overcome any hurdles that you may face.
Thank you so much, Sarah, and thank you so much, Yasmin, as well. This really feels like a time machine bringing us back to our uni days. All right, so now let's take some questions from our viewers. And Hussein, perhaps you can answer it.
Sure.
The first question is, what do the scholarships offer to a successful applicant?
Right. So your scholarship will typically offer you it will cover pretty much everything that you need. So it covers things like your tuition fees or your return flight tickets if you study overseas, your subsistence, your living expenses, and there are also some additional allowance. I remember back then it was things like allowance for winter clothing or even allowance for laptop. And then I think this allowance definitely is enough to cover your living expenses abroad. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. We also have another question. Upon completion of the study program, would the scholar be contractually bounded to work at a bank?
Oh, good question. Yes. The question is yes. So typically, it's a 1-to-2 ratio. Means, for example, if I study overseas, okay, is a 1 year of study will equal to 2 years of working in the bank. So let's say in my case, I studied 2 years in A level and then 3 years for my university with a sum of 5 years. That means with the 5 years of study, I will be bonded to the bank for the next 10 years onwards.
Yep, that's right. So all of us have actually started working with BNM for some time. So maybe we can talk a bit about our working experiences here at the bank. Yasmin?
Yes. So currently, I have been working under the Bank Negara Malaysia Kijang Scholarship Program for almost 6 months now. And this program, it allows me to rotate into 3 different departments, which actually give you the opportunity to explore different areas and field of expertise within the BNM itself before committing yourself to a specific role. And this KGP, it offers various departmental areas that you can explore. It includes maintaining monetary and financial stability in Malaysia, and also corporate management within the bank itself. So right now, I'm serving my first rotation in Market Operations and Development Department. And this department, it gives me the exposure to observe in first-hand experience in how Bank Negara actually implements their monetary policy to maintain monetary stability in the country. It involves managing Malaysian banking liquidity, government bonds, Malaysian ringgit, as well as the development of the financial system in the country. And being in this department, I get to actually apply the knowledge that I've gained during my uni years into real life situations. Another thing, working with these professionals and like-minded people in BNM, it gives me a great start to my career, and I'm so grateful for that. Another thing, the support system in the BNM itself is amazing because it helps me to develop my skills and knowledge about the industry. So I would say overall my post-study experience has been both practical learning and also professionally developing in sense.
Yeah, thank you so much, Yasmin. I couldn't agree with you more. So now that we've went through our experiences during the application stage, during our university life, and also our working life here at the bank, perhaps we can go a bit towards the application tips, which I'm sure our audience would be keen to know. So perhaps we can share a bit about what happens and some of the challenges during the assessment day.
On my assessment day, which was 6 years ago, nostalgic, we had two parts. The first one being the group assessment, where we had to do some case study presentations, and the second part, which is the individual interview. I personally found the case study presentation, the group assessment, to be a bit more challenging because we just met our group mates and we immediately had to work together. So we had to learn how to work with each other, how to leverage each other's strengths, voice out our opinions, and at the same time, take a step back and be open to listening to each other. So I think the key here is to be able to take charge, knowing when to take charge and show good leadership qualities, and at the same time, take a step back and be a good team player. And the most important part is, it's okay not to be perfect, guys. Bank Negara is not looking for someone who has all the knowledge in the world, all the skill in the world. It's fine. I myself, in my individual interview, I had a question that I had no idea what it was. And it's fine. I think what truly matters is our attitude towards such situations. Are we just going to sit there, accept the fact that we don't know the answer, or are we going to push beyond our capabilities and find the answer for it? So that is the most important thing. And I think while we are there, I'd also like to add on some good attributes that the Bank Negara is looking for, which is, while it's important for Bank Negara to find someone who aligns with its core beliefs and values, it's also equally important for the students, you guys, to find where you truly belong. So don't be afraid to show who you are. Show your unique personalities throughout the entire interview, show what you're passionate about and how you can contribute towards the nation building. And I think BNM truly values what the diverse the diverse perspective that we each one of us bring to the table. So yeah, back to you, Evie.
Thanks, Sarah. So how about you, Hussein? How did the interviews go for you, and what are some of the good resources that you relied on in preparation for the interview?
Okay, in terms of preparing for the interview, I think first thing that people have to realize is that bank interview is challenging, and it's meant to be that way because they also want to test you beyond whatever that you have known. So they want to see your communication skills, the way you articulate your whatever that you know, and your inclination towards working with the bank. So in that sense, I don't think I could say there are some kind of preparations that you can do per se, but there are some tips or some resources that can get your fundamentals right. So definitely one of the key resource is looking into the Bank Negara Malaysia website, also as our Bank Negara Malaysia annual report, because those resources definitely will set you right to get some expectations on what does the Bank Negara do, to look into our roles, into our core mandates, and to understand what do we actually do on a daily basis. So if you can also try to keep abreast of the recent news, things that are happening and things that are affecting Malaysia, especially the things that are happening domestically as well as globally. If you can also, I think another tip that can be useful is you could engage previous scholars. You can ask them how the interview went for them, because that way will give you first-hand insight on how to do well and know what to expect in the interview. But if you can't contact previous scholars, don't worry, because I'm sure there are a lot of websites out there which our previous scholars, our ex-scholars, have already written in the form of a blog to give you some kind of insights for you to prepare or mentally prepare for the interview. So one of the website is College Law. By the way, this is an unsponsored endorsement. So College Law is one of the websites that I think our previous scholars actually maintain, and many of our scholars previously have written on. So you can go through the websites. It will give you a lot of really good insights, really good tips for you to excel in your interview. And back to you, Evie.
Thanks, Hussein. We also have a follow-up question for you, asking what does the selection process involve?
I see. Typically, shortlisted applicants, they are tested on things that usually interviewers can see in person. Those are things like your communication skills, your interpersonal skills, how you communicate your ideas, how you associate yourself with others, how you talk to others, even your teamwork capability. Because one of the assessment is spoiler alert, is actually team interview, which means that you have to work together with other people. That means the way you work with others is really, really important, because it will let your assessors know that, oh, you can work in a team and in organizations very well.
Thanks, Hussein. The next question that we received from the audience, and it's a juicy one, is how many scholarships are awarded every year? Yasmin, perhaps can you take this?
Yes. So the number of scholarships awarded every year, it varies. It depends on the quality of the applications and also the suitability for each candidate for the respective categories.
Yep. All right. Now my next question is to all of you. I think most of us have applied for the scholarship when we were like 18. So I was just wondering, if you were to turn back time, what would you tell your 18-year-old self?
I would tell my 18-year-old self that failure is part of life. Because girl, it's never the end of the world. Every experience, whether it's good or bad, it teaches you valuable lessons that prepares you for what lies ahead. And it is also important for you to embrace every failure as part of growth, because it will help you to develop your problem-solving skills, and also helps you to develop a stronger sense of determination. Secondly, I would advise my 18-year-old self to always seek for knowledge, because that enthusiasm will drive you to pursue your goals. Don't be afraid to seek help from the people that can give you guidance and also encouragement throughout your journey. Trust the process, be patient with yourself, and no matter how small that step takes, it's still part of your unique journey. And lastly, I would advise my younger self to always embrace the moment and not to worry too much about the future. Never let the fear of failure actually stops you from exploring your potential. That's all from me. What about you, Sarah?
I think I'd tell the 18-year-old Sarah that, girl, life is just about to get real. Because back then, I thought SPM was going to be the biggest hurdle of my life. I mean, SPM was challenging, don't get me wrong, but I think life had so much more in store for me after the high school. So getting out of my hometown, going to an international school, flying out of the country for the first time, meeting new people, traveling around the world, all of these experiences taught me so much and exposed me to fresh perspective. So I think for all my adik-adik out there, be excited for life, because there's so much more to come, trust me. And I think I'd also tell the younger self, like younger Sarah, that be in the moment. But to be very honest, right, I think 24 years old Sarah also needs that constant reminder, because at this phase, we are always in that what's next mindset. Okay, SPM, college, university, internship, placement, pum, right? So it's always like we are always focusing on what's about to come next, where we're supposed to be, that we often forget that the moment that we are experiencing right now is exactly what we once prayed for. So while it's extremely important to plan for the future, very important, it's also equally important to be in the moment and enjoy the journey. And always try new things and make the most out of all the opportunities. Yeah.
I guess I should go next. Let's just assume I have my 18-year-old self in front of me, right? I think I would tell him that your life after this will be challenging. You'll face a lot of hurdles. But let me tell you, it's going to be fulfilling. It's going to be really meaningful for you. You'll meet a lot of new friends and you'll get a lot of new experience. And I'm sure that after you finish all of this, it will be a permanent experience that you will remember for the rest of your life. I think the key really is, I think the fact that you will face these challenges, some of these challenges you might expect it, but I think most of it you won't expect it, because things come at like such an abrupt manner, right? But the way you handle all of this, how well you navigate through it, really hinges upon whether you have the mental resilience and you have the willingness to grow through all of this discomfort. But know this, your growth will be exponential afterwards. And I think the key to this is really to embrace all of these uncertainties and exploit all the opportunities that you can get. because of course it might scare you a little, but it's fine. It's fine because you get through it regardless. And you'll be surrounded by people who are much smarter than you, who are way more experienced than you. But that's a good thing. You feel very intimidated. You feel like you're not at their level. But that's a good thing because then you'll know what are the ceilings. How better can you be? Because you have a benchmark that you set when you see other people, when you see they're doing really, really well. And you will continuously be learning. You will continue to evolve and push beyond the limits of what you think is possible. And I think lastly, it's also don't stress too much, I think. Because I think students tend to stress too much going through the process. But I guess as you go through it, I think stress is not worth it.
Yeah, thank you so much for
Yeah.
such honest and encouraging answers from all of you. And before we end off the session, since we have a little bit more time, perhaps can all of us share like one application tip that we have for the audience?
When applying for scholarship, I think it's very important to understand what that scholarship and organization is looking for. So, and of course, if you want to increase your chance, just like me, if any scholarship interests you, just apply for anything and everything that genuinely interests you. Just make sure not to treat them all the same. So give your best for all the applications, do your proper research, and get to know the scholarship's core values and beliefs. And tailor all the applications by highlighting your relevant experiences. And when you structure your essays, use clear and focused language, and just how the scholarship can support, be specific about your goals and how the scholarship can support your journey. And I also think reading up on the current national and global news really helps to, especially the ones that relevant to your courses, will help you to stand out during the interview. So yeah, that's it from me. Maybe Yasmin, go next.
Yes. One of the tips that I would say is to first look at the minimum requirements of every scholarship that you find, and make sure to apply to all the scholarships that you meet the minimum requirement and that offers the course that you are interested in. Because even though that scholarship you think is out of your reach or it's impossible for you to get, just apply. There's nothing for you to lose. At least you get to try. You get to test your potential because sometimes you don't see your potential and other people see it. So when you're applying, you actually know, oh, actually, I have the potential. That's how you know that your capability is. And another thing during the interview stage, I would say to show strong leadership and teamwork skills, because it is what it takes to work in Negara. And also, don't be afraid, or do your best, and finally, good luck.
Okay. I think my tips could be more tailored towards preparing for the interviews. I think the thing that I always tell new applicants is just try to be yourself, because I don't recommend you try to fake it till you make it. When you try to be someone that is not yourself, it's very easy for people to like catch up to your pretentious self. So if you try to be honest, just be yourself. It's like try to express your motivations, try to work together with others. I'm sure you will be fine, because the Bank Negara will find someone who really suits to their culture, who really embrace our cultural belief, who really can work within a team. So I think that's the most important thing, because people also want to see like whether you are really inclined or motivated to work with the bank, and whether you can be a team player. And going back to team player, I think one tip that I could add is also when you are working within a team, try to not be too dominant. Dominant in the sense that you are overshadowing your teammates. Because a good leader really is someone who can let their teammates shine as well. Not someone who is just trying to be the one at the forefront of everything, that you somehow overshadow your teammates. Because sometimes when you overshadow your teammates, you are sort of disregarding their opinions. Because these people who work in a team, and doesn't contribute, when you ask them, sometimes they have some ideas they have in mind which are really value adding, that might be something that the team might consider very great, but because you don't give the opportunity for them to speak or to express their opinions, they don't get the chance to do so. And so when you ask these people, oh, for example, Yasmin, oh, what is your opinion on this? Somehow they might come up with like something really brilliant, and somehow that steers the direction of the team. You know, that's one of my tips that, in fact, previously I was given when I was doing my interview. So yeah.
All right, that is the end of our panel session for today. Thank you so much to Hussein, Sarah, and Yasmin for joining us. Now, we'll be moving on to our next segment, where we'll have a dedicated Q&A with a representative from the scholarship team in the People's Department. This is your chance to get additional questions and tips from the experts. So do feel free to post your questions in the comment, and we'll see you there. Hi, Arisha.
Hi, Evie.
Hi, so it's very great for us to have Arisha here with us today. And Arisha, as a representative from the scholarship team, we believe that you will be in the perfect place to answer some of the administrative questions that our audience might have.
Sure.
Okay, so without further ado, let's move on to the first question. The first question that we received from the audience is, when do I need to provide supporting documents?
Thank you for the question, Evie. You will need to provide your supporting documents when you submit your application. At this stage, you don't have to worry about getting certified true copies of the documents. However, if you are shortlisted for the physical assessment, that is when you will need to prepare the original documents or certified true copy documents for us to verify accordingly. So, it's good to have those documents ready early, just in case you get selected for the next stage.
Thank you so much, Arisha. We also have another question from the audience asking, I'm currently studying A-levels, but my results will be out in August this year. So which examination results can I provide in the meantime?
We are pleased to accept your advanced subsidiary AS results instead of your forecasted results. If you are shortlisted and awarded the scholarship, please note that it will be a conditional offer, meaning that your actual A-level results must fulfill our requirements.
Got it. The next question is quite an exciting one. The audience asks, if I'm awarded a scholarship, can I choose which pre-university college to attend?
Yes, we will have a list of pre-university colleges that will conduct sharing sessions with our newly awarded scholars. Parents are also encouraged to join the session to know more about the pre-university colleges. After the session, you will have the opportunity to discuss with your parents.
Thank you so much, Arisha, and that's very, very considerate. The next question is a bit of a serious one. An audience asks, what if at the end of the scholarship, they decide not to return and serve BNM?
Ooh, Evie, okay. If at the end of your study, you decide not to return and serve BNM as stated in your scholarship contract, it will be considered a breach of the contract. This means that you would be required to pay the full amount of scholarship funding you receive, which the amount is not little, it's a very huge amount, yeah? The repayment would need to made in a lump sum. So it's important to review the specific terms and conditions of your scholarship contract to understand the exact obligations and potential consequences of not fulfilling the requirement.
Thank you, Arisha. That's very clear. The next question is slightly a logistical one. Someone asked, will the bank cover for my transportation costs for the physical assessment in KL if they live outside of Klang Valley?
BNM will not cover the transportation costs for your physical assessment in Kuala Lumpur. You will need to bear these expenses on your own.
I see. A related question is, can you share a bit with us the process for physical assessment?
Sure. Let me explain the process. Okay. If you are shortlisted for the physical assessment at Bank Negara Malaysia, here's what you can expect. First, the assessment takes place at 2 locations, Sasana Kijang and Lanai Kijang. You will get a reminder from us a day before the assessment. usually in the evening, asking you to check in at Lanai Kijang. It's a bit like checking into a hotel, but it's just for candidates, so no parents or family members can join. That evening, we will have an ice-breaking session. It's a fun way to get to know other candidates and maybe calm down those pre-assessment nerves a bit. Then comes the big day. In the morning, you will need to check out from Lanai Kijang. Don't worry about finding your way to Sasana Kijang. We will have shuttle transportation prepared for you. The next morning, we'll start with group assessment, where you will likely be working with other candidates on various tasks or exercises. It's a chance to show your teamwork and communication skills. After lunch, it's time for the one-on-one interviews. This is your moment to shine and talk about your skills, experience, and why you would be a great fit for BNM. After the session ends, your parents can pick you up at Sasana Kijang to go back home.
Thank you so much, Arisha. And I really enjoyed my day as well doing the assessment center last time. The next question is, if someone is not selected, will they be contacted?
Okay. As what Evie said earlier, we received a lot of application, even thousands actually, Evie. So only shortlisted candidates will be contacted. But at the end of the selection process, if you are not selected, we will send you an email to let you know the outcome. We will not leave you hanging. And this closure will give you time to explore other alternatives and plan your next steps.
Definitely. The next question is a really valid one and something that I would personally have as an applicant myself. So the question asks, what kind of roles will scholars be offered after graduating?
After you graduate, you will be joining the Kijang Graduate Program, KGP, at BNM. This program is designed to give you unique experience and exposure to the various roles within BNM, which are crucial in shaping the nation. The roles you will be offered are typically aligned with your field of study, allowing you to apply your academic knowledge in a practical setting. KGP, I would say, is a great opportunity to dive into the diverse functions of BNM, whether it's in economics, finance, policy development, or other related areas, and make a meaningful impact on the country's economic and financial landscape.
Thank you, Arisha. We also have a very juicy question. It's something that was posed to our panelists earlier as well. And that is, what are the chances of getting selected? Is it very competitive?
Thank you, Evie, for the question. The chances, I would say, is vary depending on your communication skills, leadership skills, and interpersonal skills. If you are selected for the physical assessment center, we consider all candidates who make it to this stage to be the cream of the cream. So what differentiates you from others is how you carry out the assessment, the competency that you have that match with BNM DNA culture. The assessment will be based on performance merit during the assessment day.
Thank you. And relatedly, we also have a question asking, can I reapply next year if I'm not successful this year?
Yes, sure, Evie. If your application for the Kijang Pre-University Scholarship is unsuccessful, don't be sad. You may reapply for the Kijang Undergraduate Scholarship later, as long as you meet our requirement. We have had success stories such as one shared in last year's webinar, where a candidate did not initially secure the Kijang Pre-University Scholarship, but later succeeded in getting the Kijang Undergraduate Scholarship.
Thank you. The next question will serve as a very good reminder as well, and that is, can you share again with us the field of study that Bank Negara sponsors?
Applicants' field of study must be related to the bank's core business and activities, such as economics, accounting, finance, actuarial science, mathematics, law, statistics, data science, and computer science.
Thank you so much, Arisha, for the reminder. And before we move to the end of our session, we just have one last question from the audience, and that is, maybe you can share what are some of the tips for all of our candidates out there.
Sure, Evie. I would say, as someone who involved in the process from pre-application to post-application, I would advise you to be as detailed as possible and always double check your application. For example, if your name is Ali bin Abu, please do not just put your name as Ali in the application. Use your full name as per your IC, Ali bin Abu. For your IC, please ensure it is correct. There will be a section where you need to upload your certificates or transcripts. Hence, please put the correct documents under the correct section. For the essay, remember that the word limit is 350 words. While there are many AI tools like ChatGPT, we encourage you to write the essay yourself from your heart to convey a sense of originality. Please make sure an effort to write the essay rather than just submitting a few words. We read thousands of essays each year and we appreciate the effort you put into it. Do not wait until the last minute to submit your application to avoid issues like no internet connection, blackout, or power outages. We encourage you to submit as early as possible so you can review your application before submitting.
Thank you so much, Arisha, for all of your sharing and insightful information. I'm very sure that it will be very helpful for all of our audience today. And to all of our audience, before we wrap up this session, I highly encourage you to follow BNM on all of our social media, including Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and also LinkedIn. And thank you so much for joining us to the very end of the session today. I hope that you've benefited from all of our sharing from our panelists and for our scholarship team. And on behalf of BNM, I wish you all the best and see you one day at the bank.